Effective budgeting isn't about restricting spending. It's about directing every dollar toward your priorities. If I were earning a $4,500 monthly salary, the first thing I would understand is that income alone does not create financial stability. Many people assume that making more money automatically solves financial stress, but in reality, poor budgeting can make even a good income disappear quickly. Rent, food, subscriptions, transportation, and small daily purchases can slowly consume a paycheck without clear direction. That is why, in my opinion, budgeting is not about restriction, but about control, awareness, and long-term planning. If I had to build a simple and realistic system for managing $4,500 a month, I would follow a structure based on the 50-30-20 rule. This method is widely used because it is simple and flexible. It divides income into three categories: needs, wants, and savings. While it is not perfect for every lifestyle, it provides a strong foundation for consistency. Under this system, I would allocate approximately $2,250 for needs, $1,350 for wants, and $900 for savings and investments. To begin with, the needs category would represent the foundation of financial stability. This includes all essential expenses required to live each month, such as housing, utilities, groceries, and transportation. In a real-life situation, I might pay around $1,400 for rent, especially if I am living in a mid-range apartment or sharing a place in a city. This alone takes up a large portion of income, which is very common for many people today. Utilities such as electricity, water, and internet would likely cost around $250 per month. Groceries could average about $400 if I am cooking at home regularly instead of relying on restaurants. Transportation, including gas, insurance, or public transit, might take another $200. In my opinion, this category is the most important because it protects basic stability. If these expenses are not properly managed, everything else becomes unstable. A real-life example of this would be reaching the end of the month and realizing rent is due, but money was overspent on unnecessary purchases earlier. Without a plan, this creates stress and financial pressure. With a budget, however, these expenses are already accounted for, which removes uncertainty and panic. The second category is wants, which would take about $1,350 per month. This is the part of the budget that often gets misunderstood. Many people believe budgeting means cutting out all enjoyment, but I strongly disagree with that mindset. In reality, a budget that removes all enjoyment is not sustainable for most people. Wants are what make a financial plan realistic and livable. For example, I would allocate around $300 for eating out and coffee. A relatable situation is coming home from a long day of work and deciding to order food instead of cooking. Without budgeting, this habit can quickly become expensive and untracked. However, when it is included in the budget, it becomes controlled rather than random. I would also set aside around $100 for entertainment subscriptions such as Netflix, Spotify, or similar services. These small monthly costs may seem minor, but they still need to be tracked. Additionally, I would allocate about $300 for personal shopping, which might include clothing, small upgrades, or personal care items. The remaining $650 would be used for hobbies, travel, social activities, or spontaneous spending. This could include weekend outings with friends, small trips, or experiences that improve quality of life. A real-life scenario for this category would be planning a social weekend with friends. Without a budget, you might feel guilty about spending money or avoid participating altogether. With a structured wants category, you can enjoy these experiences without financial stress or regret. In my opinion, this category is essential because it prevents burnout and makes budgeting sustainable over the long term. The third category is savings and investments, which would take about $900 per month. This is, in my opinion, the most important part of the entire financial system because it focuses on the future rather than just the present. This category includes emergency savings, investing, and debt repayment if necessary. I would divide it into three parts. First, $400 would go into an emergency fund. This fund is designed for unexpected expenses such as car repairs, medical bills, or urgent travel. A very real example would be your car suddenly breaking down and needing $600 for repairs. Without savings, this becomes a financial crisis. With an emergency fund, it becomes manageable. Second, I would allocate $300 toward investing, such as index funds or retirement accounts. This is where long-term wealth is built slowly over time, through consistency rather than large one-time gains. Third, I would set aside $200 for debt repayment if I had any. If there is no debt, I would redirect this amount toward additional investing or savings. A key principle I would follow in this system is the idea of paying yourself first. This means that as soon as I receive my paycheck, I would immediately transfer my savings and investment money before spending anything else. In real life, this habit is extremely powerful because it removes the temptation to spend first and save whatever is left over. Most people struggle financially not because they do not earn enough, but because they save too late or inconsistently. For example, if someone waits until the end of the month to save money, there's often nothing left. But if they save first, they naturally adjust their spending habits throughout the month. In my opinion, this one habit alone can completely change someone's financial future over time. However, budgeting is not meant to be rigid or perfect. Life changes every month. Some months may include higher expenses, emergencies, or social events. A good budget should be flexible enough to adjust without breaking completely. For example, if rent increases slightly, I would reduce spending in the want category instead of touching savings. If I pay off debt, I would increase investments. The goal is not perfection, but consistency and adaptability. 9 inches conclusion. A $4,500 monthly salary is more than enough to build a stable and healthy financial life if managed properly. The key is not how much money is earned, but how clearly that money is organized and controlled. By using a simple structure of needs, wants, and savings, and by applying real-life habits such as paying yourself first, it becomes possible to reduce financial stress and build long-term stability. In my opinion, the ultimate goal of budgeting is not just to survive each month, but to create a life where money becomes a tool for freedom, opportunity, and peace of mind rather than a source of stress or uncertainty. Thank you for watching. In our next video, I will cover budgeting for rent in high-cost living areas. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like the video and subscribe for more budgeting, investing, and personal finance tutorials.